Welcome, dear friends, to the enchanting world of words, the Millennium Library. Here, memories take us back to warm nights where grandmothers and mothers wove the most wonderful tales. Our only wish now is for you to listen, to dive deep into the heart of the stories that shaped our minds and souls. We have embarked on this unique project, the Millennium Library, to gather for you a treasure trove of timeless novels and stories, and present them to you with voices full of warmth and sweetness. It is a legacy we are creating together between humanity and artificial intelligence to remain a testament to the power of words and the magic of storytelling throughout the ages. We hope you find in it what delights your souls and enriches your imagination. If this work touches your hearts, we would be delighted if you share it with your loved ones. And remember, your support lies in liking this segment and leaving your comments which illuminate our path. We are here to grow by you and with you. With sincere regards from the Millennium Library. The Children and the Vultures. Once upon a time, all the women of a village went to the jungle to gather Carla fruit, and one of them was pregnant. In the jungle, she felt that her time was come, and she went aside without telling any of her friends and gave birth to twin boys. The other women went on gathering fruit, and when they had filled their baskets and were on their way home, they noticed that one of their number was missing. But as it was late, they were afraid to go back and look for her. And besides, they felt sure that she must have been devoured by some wild animal. Meanwhile, the mother of the twins began to call to her friends, but they were far out of hearing. So she debated whether she should carry home the two babes or her basket of Carla fruit. She did not feel strong enough to carry both the infants in her arms, and so she decided to take the basket of fruit, especially as she would probably have plenty more children, while the Carla fruit could not be replaced. She covered the twins with leaves of the asan tree and went home. But when her husband heard what had happened, he was very angry and scolded her well. She could easily have thrown away the fruit and carried home the children in the basket, instead of taking so much trouble about the Carla fruit, as if no one had ever seen any before. He wanted to take a few friends and go and look for the children at once, but his father and mother begged him not to risk his life in the jungle at night. The woman had been a fool, but that could not be remedied. People must learn by experience. As the Hindu proverb says, when your caste goes, wisdom comes. They could not allow the breadwinner of the family to risk his life, though the roof and doors of the house had gone. The walls remained. As long as the tree stood, new branches would grow. But if the tree fell, there was no more hope. So in the end, the children were left where they were. No sooner had the mother gone than a pair of king vultures swooped down to make a meal of the children. But they cried so pitifully that the vultures had hot the heart to kill them, but instead carried them up to their nest and brought them food. And, and when the children began to walk, they carried them down to the ground, and when they were big enough to take care of themselves, they told them to go into the neighboring villages and beg. But they forbade them to go towards the village in which their real parents lived. So every day the two boys went out begging, and as they went from house to house, they sang. Our mother took away the Carla fruit. She covered us up with asan leaves. The pair of king vultures reared us, give us alms, and people had pity on them and gave them enough to live on. One day the two boys thought that they would go and see what the country was like in the direction which had been forbidden to them. So they set out singing their usual song, and when they came to the house where their mother lived, she heard them sing, and knew that they must be her children. So she called them, and bathed them, and oiled their bodies, and told them that she was their mother, and they were very glad to stay with her. But when the children did not return, the vultures flew in search of them, and circled round and round in the air looking for them. The mother saw them, and knew what they wanted, so she took the children into the house and hid them under a large basket. But the vultures flew down to the house, and tore a hole in the thatch, and entered through it, and overturned the basket, and seized the children. Then the father and mother also caught hold of them, and the vultures pulled, and the parents pulled, until the children were torn in two, and the vultures flew away with the portions they had secured. The father and mother sorrowfully burnt on a pyre the remains of the children that were left to them. The vultures, when they reached their nest, were unwilling to eat the flesh of the children they had reared. So they set fire to their nest, but as the flames rose high, some juice spirted out from the burning flesh on to the vultures, and they tasted it, and found it so good that they pulled the rest of the flesh out of the flames and ate it. And from that time vultures feed on human bodies. The ferryman. There was once a ferryman who plied a ferry across a big river, and he had two wives. By the elder wife he had 5 sons, and by the younger only one. When he grew old, he gave up work himself, and left his sons to manage the boats. But the step-brothers could not agree, and were always quarreling. So the father gave one boat to the son of the younger wife, and told him to work it by himself at a separate crossing higher up the river, while the 5 other brothers plied to Old Ferry. It turned out that most passengers used to cross at the youngest brother's ferry, and as he had no one to share the profits with him, his earnings were very large. Because of this, he used to jeer at his other brothers who were not so well off. This made them hate him more than ever, and they resolved to be revenged. So one day, when he was alone in the boat, they set it adrift down the river without any oars. As he drifted helplessly down the river, he saw a river snake, as long as the river was broad, waiting for him with open mouth. He thought that his last hour had come, but he seized a knife which was in the boat and waited. When the stream brought him within reach, the snake swallowed him, boat and all, and swam to the bank. When he felt the snake climbing up the bank, he began to cut his way out of its stomach with his knife, and soon made a wound which killed the snake and enabled him to make his way out and pull out the boat. Then he looked about him and saw a large village nearby, so he went towards it to tell the villagers how he had killed the great snake. But when he reached it, he found it deserted. He went from house to house, but found no one. At last he came to a house in which there was one girl, who told him that she was the only inhabitant left, as the great river snake had eaten up all the other people. Then he told her how he had killed the snake and took her to see its dead body. The village was full of the wealth left by its former inhabitants, so he and the girl decided to stay there. And there were such riches that they lived like a Raja and Rani. One morning his wife told him that she had had a dream in which she was warned that he must on no account go out towards the south of the village. But he laughed at her, because he had up to that time moved about wherever he liked without any harm. She begged him to listen to her advice, because it was by her wisdom that she had saved her life when everyone else in the village had been killed. So for a few days he obeyed her, but one morning he took a sword and went off towards the south. He had not gone far when he came to a cow which had fallen into a pit, and it called to him, "Oh, brother, I have fallen into great trouble. Help me out, and one day I will do the same to you, if you ask my aid." So he took pity on the cow and pulled it out. Going on a little further, he came to a buffalo which had stuck fast in a bog, and it also called to him for help, and promised to do the like for him in case of need. So he pulled it out of the mud and went on his way. Presently he came to a well, and from the depths of the well a man who had fallen into it cried to him for help. So he went and pulled him up, but no sooner had the man reached the surface than he turned and pushed his rescuer down the well and ran away. His wife waited and waited for his return, and when he did not come, she divined that he had gone towards the south, in spite of her warning. So she went to look for him, and presently found him at the bottom of the well. So she let down a rope and pulled him up, and gave him a scolding for his folly. After this they thought it best to leave that country, so they embarked on the boat and traveled back to his father's house. Catching a thief. There was once a rich Rajah, and in order to frighten away thieves, whenever he woke up at night, he used to call out, "What are you people saying? I know all about it. You are digging the earth and throwing the earth away. I know all about it. You are skulking there, scraping a hole." One night a gang of thieves really came and began to dig a hole through the mud wall of the Rajah's house. And while they were at work, the Rajah woke up and called out as usual. The thieves thought that they were discovered and bolted. The next morning the hole they had been making was found, and the Rajah ordered his Sipahis to catch the thieves. The head of all the thieves was a bullion by caste, and for 5 rupees he would catch any thief you wanted. So the Sipahis were told to bring this bullion, and they went to a potter and asked, "Ho, maker of pots, he who makes whole paddy into china, where does he live?" And the potter answered, "He who heats pewter, his house is over there." Following this direction, they found the bullion, and he caught the thieves for them. Conclusion of our journey. And so we reach the conclusion of our journey for today, within the unending worlds of words and the never folding pages of knowledge. We have spent an enjoyable and beneficial time together within the embrace of Millennium Library, where voices meet tales and a new cultural legacy is forged. We hope you have enjoyed every moment and delved deeply into the dimensions of the story or novel we presented to you. Always remember that this grand edifice, Millennium Library, is the result of a unique collaboration between human creativity and the profound depth of artificial intelligence. Our goal is to enrich your ears and minds with the treasures of world literature and to make knowledge accessible to everyone, while preserving the ownership rights of Millennium Library for this distinctive production. Don't forget to follow us and activate the notification bell to receive all new content. And share this podcast with everyone around you, for knowledge is light, and together we illuminate the paths. Until we meet again in a future episode and a new literary adventure, may you be in the care and keeping of Allah, and within the realm of immortal words. Millennium Library, where tales are embodied, knowledge is narrated, and creativity is immortalized.